Hello, everybody. Welcome once again. It is Sunday night, and Sunday night means it is time for us to have another session of Like Clockwork, our Dungeons and Dragons actual play that we stream here on Twitch. And we have most folks in tonight. We don't have John this week, so I don't know how we're going to learn about what's happening in the Power Rangers podcast. Maybe Elizabeth will know something. And
Maybe.
we do have Sin here tonight. However, they are undergoing some technical difficulties. So tonight they will be represented by an image of Perunyia. All right. So
Not
with that, we're
of Lex.
not of Lex. Soon,
Not of
soon,
Lex.
soon we'll have some art
It
for
could have
our
just
new
been
characters.
Shayloon's character, if you ask me, but sure.
Yeah, honestly, the last time I was seen, I looked like Shayloon, not Perunyia.
That
That's why we
actually
put them
makes-
both in the box.
That actually makes so much more sense. So real quick, Sin, how was your world tour of America, North America, United States of America?
It was really good. I got to GM and for a company called Magpie, and I got to do a couple lectures at various hospitals about like play therapy and therapeutic environments for children. But it is good to be home and playing D&D. I've missed playing in games.
Yeah. Apparently you unloaded a boot full of dice on people.
Yes. I, as some people know, I have been learning to make dice, and all my rejected sets got put into these shoes that people could roll, and then whatever fell out, they got to keep.
Like
Jeez.
platforms with like clear platforms, and all the dice were in there. Like, so like there's all these videos of people just like
Aggressively shaking my shoes.
it was great. So yeah, so you're back and ready to just kind of chill for a little bit, huh?
Oh yeah, I missed my bed. I missed my dogs. They were so excited. My dog peed on me when I got home. It was great.
Nice. It's always good to know that you still have it, and your dog will still be excited enough to just pee all over you.
She hasn't done it in years, so
Upon seeing you, yeah, and then you feel like if your dog hasn't done it in years, you start to feel like, well, do you even love me anymore? But then you
Home is
come
where you're
home.
peed on.
Yeah, home is where you're peed on. Thank you.
thank you. Showing the life lessons right there.
Anything.
That's it.
Anything really
Speaking of
good to kill
Joey, what's going on with you?
Well, thanks for the transition there.
Yeah.
Nothing much has been going on with me. In game time, I missed playing last week, and I wish I was here, but I had friends that were visiting, so I prioritized seeing them the once a year they come down. But other than that, I think the biggest news this week is Dragon Ball Z is now on Fortnite, which has
Dragon Ball Z is now on Fortnite.
Yeah, which has provoked my 8-year-old to now want to watch Dragon Ball Z. So today I watched a bunch of Dragon Ball Z with them. I'm like, thank you, Fortnite, for reminding kids what an interesting form of media is that is not just YouTube. And that has
The
been
movies in theaters too.
Fortnite the movie.
No, the Dragon Ball Z movie.
Fortnite the movie.
The movie.
What is this happening? I never could really get into Dragon Ball Z, and I think it's because when it was big, my son was of the age to watch, and I would always be like out the door on my way to work, and so the only thing I ever saw of Dragon Ball Z was somebody powering up. Like, that's all I ever saw. Like, I would be walking through, and there'd just be somebody would just be like, ah, and just like fire and light, and that's it. So to my knowledge at the time, that's just all the show was.
They apparently made a cut where they got rid of like the 7 episodes per arc of them just yelling or screaming and standing still in like different frames. I think it's called Dragon Ball Z Kai. I don't know where that is though. It's not like on a platform like readily available that I know of anyway. But if you wanted to watch it without watching all the unnecessary stuff like you just mentioned, there is a thing out there for that.
So somehow I have to find Dragon Ball Z Kai to find the version that cuts the intense powering up. All right, I'll have
That's
to
like
remember
half
that.
the show.
So it's not just that's what it seemed like. That's what it was. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
All right. All right. So moving on. Next we have Isabitz. What's up?
Hello. Um, this week is really busy. Tomorrow I will be live on ESPD&D Twitch for the Rise of Zentarum Stormwatch campaign. And then we have the Streamathon this weekend, and I am a part of a couple games. I am running a game.
Nice.
And busy preparing for that because I'm quite nervous, but super excited. And then recording Power Ranger podcast with Panabon, who is my Zordon, and that will be coming out early next year, I believe, is when it's going to be on Alternating Archives.
Right.
But other
But
than
you're
that,
recording them now.
yes, we are. We are recording them now. We're about halfway through.
And I just want to say, like, I get that whenever we say Panabon, we mean John. But like in my head, I really like have this idea of Panabon being Zordon. And that really makes me happy. Like that version of Power Rangers just feels like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
So, all right. So moving up and over to Alex, Great Things. What's going on?
Yeah, so it's back to school time, right? So we did back to school shopping today for the almost 10-year-old. She's now in women's X small and size 9 in women's shoe, which is for all the men out there, really large, bigger than most women's feet. We then cleaned the whole room, like one of those things where we crawled under the bed and moved the dressers and got every single thing off the floor, organized for 5 hours, and put it back in.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm a little tired, but feeling very accomplished and productive. So I love that.
Cool mom stuff. Yeah.
Cool mom stuff.
All right.
This is why I had kids, so I could do back to school shopping. Like, this is like the reason why I did it.
Yes. That's I mean, you know, who doesn't have kids for that? Like just back to school shopping. It's good times. You need 15 boxes of crayons and all different numbers.
I beat the system this year. I didn't have to do it. I remembered there was a 1-week window in May where they're like, would you like to sign up for school supplies next year? And I found the email and I said yes. So I have to do no back to school shopping of that sort.
That's wild. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I normally miss it.
Yeah.
This is the first year I actually did it right.
The future is here.
It's really nice.
Sarah, what's up?
Lots of stuff. I'm back in Ohio now, and excited to get back to Canada. But in the meantime, I'll announce it here because this is the first time I've appeared anywhere, I think, since it happened. We got the contract signed with Catalyst. We are running their next Kickstarter for the Shadowrun trading card game.
Nice.
So that launches September 13th, and then it'll be a 2-week campaign. But more importantly, right now we have a Kickstarter that's live for Coddlesworth's Clockwork Circus. So the comic book is 57% funded, which is funny because we also have 57 backers. So we're at $2,872 of our $5,000 goal. And there's still 24 days to go, but the sooner the better. Help us get to that 5,000 because if we don't make it, we lose it all. So please go ahead, support, and get issue 2 of the comic book. You can also get issue 1 for free by going to Drive-Thru Comics and looking up Coddlesworth, or by joining our mailing list. So you get 2 ways to get the comic for free. And please, if you do go to Drive-Thru Comics, please leave us a review. Honest review. We just want people reading it and telling us what they think. So yeah. So remalternus.com/kick to support the Kickstarter. I'm all frazzled right now. So that's where you can go to support the Kickstarter. And then what else is happening? I feel like something else is happening that I need to talk about.
Well, Isabeth mentioned the Streamathon. That seems like it's pretty soon.
Yeah, that's in 1 week, so that's pretty exciting. And I think actually we just had a show fall through, so if you want to GM something, we'll have a time slot available to do that, and more slots to sign up for, which is always exciting. So you can come play with us by joining our Discord. And what else is happening? In like a week ish, a little over a week, on the 30th, August 30th, we're launching another Kickstarter for Pure Alchemy Soaps, gelatinous cube soaps. So they're really cool. They have a dice set in them, and they're like really fun to watch. If you watch the video, on the intro video, you go to remalternus.com/soap, and like you could actually use them on your gaming table too, and they're pretty great. I'll drop some of these links in. So here is the Coddlesworth one. Here is the Pure Alchemy one. And I'll find the Discord links and everything else I was talking about. I never have those memorized. So, but yeah, that's, I think, everything going on right now.
So there's like going to be a week or a few days, like half a week, where there's 3 Kickstarters going on simultaneously for REM. That's a lot going on.
We've made the big time. This is what I pay Ava for now.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. The CGL one for
that's pretty great.
Deal. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else is a big deal?
What?
Perunyia in the town of Ariad right now is a big deal, and that is in the game that we're about to play. So we are going to segue right over into that because, it's I'd say it's about that time. Welcome back. Apparently, it was not quite about that time. Sarah, what do you got? What's your alibi?
Hi, everyone. I remember the thing I was struggling to remember. So don't forget that you can actually interact with the game here that we play. You can donate channel points at the bottom of the chat screen. You can donate bits. So 100 bits is $1. Every little bit helps us produce content and pay our subscriptions and all the things that we do. And to do that, let's see, D&D, I think it's, for 100 bits, you can give any player you like inspiration. For 300 bits, you can give them an auto hit. And for 500 bits, that's $5, you can give any player nat 20. And any new followers as well. Followers will give you an inspiration to any player, and a subscription to our channel will get you a nat 20 to give. So cool stuff.
All
Thanks.
right. And with that, it's about that time. Oh, we already did that. Cool. Last week, everyone had gathered for dinner. Sans, Lex, and Rojelio. And after dinner, from which Nugatsu was pulled away by some individuals that work for the big power and energy and engineering company that Nugatsu works for, that happens to be part of this town because it is a railroad town. They left, went to a tavern, enjoyed some of the tavern atmosphere, and then went to watch Perunyia throw up her dukes against the local favored MMA fighter for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
While they were there, they saw some of the who's who of the city, or the town rather. It's a little town, more like a village, really. And then Perunyia got into the sort of the ring, the sand pit, and had a wrestle with Steward, the champion of this sort of town. Was able to win, and everyone was cheering them on, and that is about the point when we left off. As everyone is cheering, those of you who are in attendance, you do realize that by this point, apparently Lex and Rojelio have found their way to the location. Afterwards, Lex, of course, had some letters that they wanted to mail off, that he wanted to mail off to Palacune. And Rogelio kind of was taking some time, and then they ran into each other and realized, hey, we don't know where everyone's at, but saw a lot of people going towards a certain location, followed them, and found themselves in the crowd. That said, though you have found Lex and Rogelio, missing is Panabon. Nobody has
Panabon
seen
not missing.
Panabon in quite a few minutes.
I lost him in the crowd, and I'm looking real cranky about it right now.
Yeah. So most of the folks are heading back to the tavern to, tie off the night and just enjoy and celebrate and cheer and be in relatively good spirits. As you are heading that way, the person that of the people that were sitting up on the balcony before, one of them you knew to be like the foreman, maybe of the corporation that's here, and a lady that he was with, and then there were two other individuals, one sitting down and one kind of standing just slightly behind it. That individual, actually, Perunyia, you feel someone tapping on the lower part of your shoulder as y'all are walking across the street. And you see this fellow. He is not very tall. And let's see, he's not very tall. And he has this sort of unkempt mustache, this greasy hair in a mullet. Doesn't look like the most fastidiously hygienic individual. He's got a nice vest on. It's wrinkled, but it's nice. A tunic underneath, and he's wearing quite a bit of jewelry now that you see him up close. He's got a few chains around his neck, a bracelet. His belt is studded with gold and gems. And he says, yeah, hello, Miss Perunyia. Yes, that was your name, yes?
Avril, I go by.
Oh, no, Avril. I'm sorry. My players have 7,000 names for the characters. Avril, Miss Avril Lavenge. It was right.
Lavenge.
That was quite a showing you put on there. Quite a showing indeed.
Oh, why? Thank you.
Yes. In fact, I am the steward of a interested party that thinks that perhaps there may be a sort of business proposition that you may be interested in hearing, and if so, perhaps then you would be interested in meeting up with with my employer, um, perhaps if you are at all interested.
I mean, I'm only in town for as long as the train takes to get repaired. So if it's a quick job, I might be down for it, but I am limited by the train itself.
Well, yes, yes, of course. I believe the fact that you are leaving soon plays into into his business plans, if you will.
Huh.
So yeah, indeed. Um, well, I should let him know then that you would like to meet. I'm told that the train should be ready to leave tomorrow, so perhaps this evening would be um, uh, the best time to meet. If
Perunyia looks at the moon like it's already like pretty late. Yes, but the sooner the better. No.
indeed. How about this? If you're entering into the tavern, as I see many folks are, I will speak to him, and I am sure that within moments, uh, I will be back to uh, to bring you to his office, as it were.
Well, I promised my new friend Stuart a drink, so I'm gonna go into the bar and do that, and you can find me afterwards.
Excellent. That would be that's exactly right. So I will be back forthwith, and see you in a moment. And he turns and kind of pushes his way through the crowd. A couple of people kind of bump him. A few people maybe a little bit harder than necessary, and he kind of stumbles a little bit, but manages to make his way out of the crowd.
Prudence looks around to see if she can see any of her friends around her. She's been swept up in the crowd with Stuart to get alcohol, as it were. So she looks around to see if she can actually see Shay or Panabon or Drew or anyone.
It's probably really hard to see Shayloon, because Shayloon is a little.
Quite short, yes.
What about Drew? How has Drew like moved to the side and let the crowd pass, or is Drew kind of moving along with folks?
Um, maybe a little bit of both. She's hanging back a little bit, but she's kind of following the crowd. But she's like trying. She's not in the middle of everybody. She's like off to the side or in the back.
Okay. So you can see that Drew is kind of in the back of the crowd, moving. It's a little bit thinner there, so you can see her. Rojelio is fairly tall, and so you do see his top hat, and then you make out his shape, kind of over the crowd as the two of you, Lex and Rogelio, um, once the fight was done and the crowd just kind of sweeps out. What are you two doing? Each of them wait for the other to speak first, and it's a game of player character speaking.
Don't you know? Well, I spoke first, so here we go. I am most interested in just kind of mingling with the locals in the bar. People that definitely look like they are not part of our group, just to kind of get a better idea of what people in human interaction and whatnot is like. So whether it's the shadiest corner or the most popular seat at the bar, I want to kind of go wherever the people are. Quote,
Okay.
mermaids.
I do want to say that I currently look like Lex.
Just in case.
Just in case there's any question. I look like Lex currently. I'm giving I'm giving my kid some space. So I'm standing about 5 feet away from Rojelio, just observing, making sure that nothing bad's happening to him. But just like being as inconspicuous as I can watching.
All right. So yes, I would say that you do see your friends. You see Rojelio. Rojelio is kind of making his way towards the tavern as well, and has managed to kind of connect to a small group of individuals that are also making their way towards the tavern. And for you, Rojelio, as you're walking, one of these guys kind of looks over and then looks up and then kind of double takes of what what's up with that mask?
What's that guy wearing?
He's wearing a just a simple mid-sleeve shirt. It's like a grayish color. Maybe that's not the original color, but it's grayish color now. And just some work pants, some sort of dull brown work pants. He's got boots on.
Taking this as a maybe semi greeting, I just want to respond like, "What's up with that mid sleeve shirt?"
We've all got shirts on.
Cheers.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, all right.
I definitely don't have any form of money, correct? I don't think I have items at all. I just want to be clear of that, right?
I don't think you have any money. You do have your like it's like a telescoping cane that you have that has a like a crystal pommel, but other than that, no, you have the clothes that you wear.
Gotcha.
And your cane. So it does probably look to them like you're a person wearing a mask. It doesn't like they don't seem put off by it. They just seem mostly intrigued by it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As they kind of lead you into the tavern, or as you've kind of followed the crowd into the tavern, that is. And
gotcha. Well, I'll introduce myself to the random guy then, since he already commented on my face. I'll just say Rojelio, and I put my hand out, and I'm like, "And your name?"
yeah, I'm Alan. Pleased to pleasure to meet you. As he shakes your hand, he kind of flinches a little bit just as he grabs your hand, just because the coldness in the metal of your hand, and then looks at your hand and then looks back to you and, oh man, must have been quite an accident.
He's like, I just kind of look at it and he's like, tragic. I'm not really sure how to go about that one, but sure.
I imagine so. Well, and he kind of like peers around to your other hand, and he's like, "Oh, ooh, yeah." As you make it into the tavern. Well, I suppose it's good that you got money, huh? People can just kind of make things happen for themselves.
I'm just like, money. That's true, Alan. That's very true.
Well, are you getting a drink or?
I'm like, you know what, Alan? I will get a drink.
Can I stealthily put some money in Rojelio's pocket?
Sure.
That's a mouth move right there.
I imagine in this case that you actually managed to do that. If as long as Joey has no
reason to check my pockets because I know there's no money in there. Sure, go for it.
No reason to be averse to this, but yeah.
Just go with Alan.
So you do that. Now that said, Lex, folks can't help but notice you kind of amongst the crowd as well.
That's rude.
Yeah, that's.
Don't look at me.
So popular.
There's two Dragonborn in this town right now, I think. So there you go.
And yeah, and
I'm
so
just
one of
common
them's
at
like, "Hey, are you like with Avril, the fighter?"
Oh, yes.
That makes sense.
I'm Fred.
Fred. All right. You're like really short though. Like, aren't most Dragon Ball like are Dragonborn like aren't all of them like really tall and
Thank you for pointing out something that has hurt me my entire life.
I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
be offensive.
it's fine. It's I get it. I'm short.
I'm not super big either. They kind of like, but
I didn't point that out though.
Yeah, you didn't.
Can I give my son some money now?
You're what?
Was this Alan or is this someone I don't know?
This is just.
Oh, okay.
Instead of the pockets, then can I hand? So my money's a little weird. Can I hand 100 copper pieces and put them all in like Rojelio's hands? Because that's what I got.
So you take your bag of copper pieces, your pennies, if you will, and as Rojelio, as you're talking, all of a sudden, like a bag of coins is just like placed into your hand.
I would love Alan's perspective of this. He's like, yeah, it must be great coming from money, and money just appears in my hand. Yeah, it's great.
He looks back. He's like,
Lex did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I think so. Alan kind of turns and says, "Are you with? Is this a friend of yours or?"
Yes.
Yeah, that's my mom.
And with that, he kind of looks down towards your feet, which are just feet in boots, and he looks back at you and that's okay. And his face says, "I have questions," but you can also tell by his face that he does not know how to formulate these questions in a way that just isn't intensely awkward.
He's already pointed out what he thought was my disformities of not having hands. I feel like Alan's a very open person at this point.
Yeah.
There's anything he wants to share.
Well,
Lex is short. I don't have appendages. It's a very open place.
Yeah,
people point things out, I guess, what we're all lacking.
So the other fellow, he pulls up and he's like, let's get some drinks for our new friends here. By the way, my name's Greg, and this is Alan. He says to Lex. What about you? What are your names?
Fred, I told you earlier.
Oh yeah,
Alan.
What?
Am I introducing myself again to Alan, or is this someone else?
This is the other person.
I say Rojelio, and I stick my hand out and give him a handshake.
He shakes your hand, and he's like, "Oh, that's wow, cool."
It was a tragic accident.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It turns to like, I'm sorry to hear that. If it's your business though, I'm sure it's probably you probably don't want to share that story. But I got some drinks coming. Meanwhile, Shayloon, you can't help but notice that Rojelio and Lex are kind of in the crowd. I don't know if you're going back to the tavern with folks or if you were heading elsewhere.
after losing Panabon in the crowd, I'm going to go ahead and send a mind link message to each of them, to Lex and to Rojelio, and say, Panabon's missing. They snuck off. And I'll just leave it at that.
I want to just immediately fling my body and just like start looking around. I have no idea what that was.
Do we get to respond back? I forget.
You can.
You can do like one sentence back.
Normal missing or different missing?
I'll cast it again and say unknown. And then I'll cast it again and say, were you normal missing or different missing? Because you weren't at dinner.
Rojelio out loud the whole time. What the hell is that?
Yeah, Alan's like, what's what? Yeah.
Alan, you're not hearing this?
In my head, I'm gonna send back. I wasn't hungry. I was trying to do stuff. And I'm gonna put my hand on Rojelio's shoulder and go, I'm sorry for my child. He sometimes hears voices.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Do you?
Alan.
I mean,
Love this guy. Good old mid-sleeve shirt.
sometimes, just it's self-talk, right? Like we all talk to ourselves. Especially if like other people don't want to talk to us
Oh.
all the time. Yeah, keep you from getting
sorry.
lonely. Yeah. Anyway, here's our drinks. Thanks, Roseanne. He says to the bartender. Dru, what about you? Are you doing anything in particular here?
Dru is taking her time getting to the tavern with everybody else. She's just kind of like meandering around, trying to just like people watch and taking it all in.
Yeah, give me a real quick. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Wow.
17.
Yeah. So very clearly, you did see the interaction that the individual had with Perunyia and their quick talk back and forth before he kind of made his way back towards where the fight was, and he actually goes in. So he doesn't actually go back through the alley into the back. He actually goes to one of the front doors, and he produces a key and enters the door. You see some lights popping on inside. If you were, without looking, you're pretty sure this is the house. That on the backside is where those individuals are all sitting on the back balcony or porch.
Any windows?
There are windows. They're mostly up though, because you do have to walk up to get to the front door, up to like a balcony. So it has a porch in the front that actually overlooks the entirety of the street, and like it'd be a great place to sit and people watch during the day if someone were inclined to do so.
Window. I'm just gonna make a mental note of that's the house that this gentleman went in case Avril needs to or wants to find him again.
Sure.
But I don't
All
want
right.
to get caught peeping through the window. I don't think.
Okay.
Is there anything else open at this time of in the evening?
No, not that you can see right now. So the tavern is obviously open. There are no businesses other than that are open. You can see a few buildings down, the hotel. There are lights in front there. There looks like there's some activity going on over there. Perhaps some of the folks that were riding on the train that aren't into the more rough and tumble style of a tavern. Ooh, they're not going to go, debase themselves in such a way. They, that's where they're having their tie up muckety muck shindig stuff. But otherwise, there doesn't seem to be anything else open.
Okay. So if I wanted to send a letter, that I wouldn't be able to until the morning.
Right. Yeah, that
Okay.
would have to wait.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm just gonna kind of slowly make my way into the tavern, and just kind of like people watch as I go inside. And once I get in, I would probably order a drink and sit close to whatever musical instrument is there and maybe take it over, depending on how badly they're playing.
Sure thing. Meanwhile, Perunyia, you're inside, and as you're approaching the bar, Steward just kind of leans forward and like, "Hey, Roseanne!" And gets the attention of the bartender. She approaches. Yeah, what can I get you? And he goes, just what are you like like an ale, mead?
Yeah, ale sounds great.
What?
Ale sounds great.
Ale. All right, let's get a couple of ales. Um, uh, we got this is like a real professional right here. And Roseanne just kind of nods, heads back to get those drinks for you. So, did you like train with like other fighters and stuff in Palanquin, right?
Yes, it was it's my childhood dream actually to go and be a cage fighter, and yeah, I've been doing it since I got in trouble in probably middle school for following my brother and fighting with him. So quite a while at this point, but
Oh
just for
wow,
fun.
wow. Oh. But so you've been doing it since you were little. Do a lot of the ladies in Palanquin, are they fighters?
Oh, I'd say maybe 40-60. It's a maybe a little bit slightly more male for Dragonborn, but we tend to be pretty big and brawn, and therefore most women in Palanquin or female Dragonborn actually do partake of it more than what I notice in the human species. But I really loved my brother, and my brother loved fighting, and there we were.
Yeah, that's great. I've only really been fighting for like a few years at this point. I just get it's like natural size or whatever, so it just makes me better than some of these other guys just kind of naturally. And then it's not like they've been fighting for a long time either. But it
You've got
sounds like
some
you've
real
been
talent, though, Stuart. You should, I don't know, maybe if you ever find a place and maybe you start your own gym someday.
start my own gym, Steward's Gym. That'd be like a like my name is it's like cinnamon to the word for like to take care of, like like steward, steward, like yeah,
Yeah,
it's I could be like steward of the fighters or something.
I like it. See, that's a business mind right there waiting to happen.
Yeah, it'd be great. um and so that conversation sort of continues on. um and Shayloon, the missing Panabon does not seem uh, to be too big of a emergency issue. It seems to most of the folks. Um,
Kind of beyond caring, unless it puts us at risk. In which case, I am going to lose it. But it's later's problem, later Shayloon's problem. So Shay is just gonna go back to the train and lock herself in her car and do much of the needed research and work that she's been neglecting with traveling lately.
okay, sounds great. A few moments later, in the tavern, uh, that individual comes comes through. Drew, as you're kind of watching for that, you do notice that he exits the house and comes across the street back to the tavern. And he eventually sidles up next to Perunyia. Perunyia, give me an insight check real quick.
Yep. That is one of the skills that I am not great at.
Okay. You do note that as soon as this guy shows up, Steward's overly gregarious demeanor kind of pulls in. It recedes just a little bit, and he is quiet as this individual speaks to you. Hey, so talk to the guy, and he was entertaining guests anyway, and said it'd be fine for if you want to come right over now. So we're just across the street, and we can sit down, and he can tell you what he's got in mind. And if you need to bring somebody with you, that's fine too. If I don't know if you got like a manager or something, that'd be fine. Just I'll you just need to grab somebody real quick. I'll go be by the front door, huh?
Sure.
Do we hear this from where we are?
I think you see it happening. I don't think you necessarily hear it.
And I will turn to Stewart and be like, I will catch you a little bit later. And I will look around for any of my party, particularly looking for Shayloon, because I know she's going to be mad at me if I enter into any business negotiation without her. But any of my party, I scan around the bar.
So you do see at the bar is Rojelio, a couple of locals, and Lex kind of behind, simultaneously really present, but also kind of like shrieking into the background. You do see Dru kind of over near the piano. You don't see Shayloon. You don't see Panabon. And as you're looking, Stewart kind of puts a hand lightly on your forearm. I mean, you probably know what you're doing, but be mindful. Make sure you're dotting all your I's and crossing your T's if you get in anything with those fellas. Huh?
Is the other guy out of range of hearing?
Yeah, he like up to the front door.
Thanks. That's really friendly advice. I depending on how this conversation goes, I might ask you a couple more questions if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. They do a lot for the town, but it just,
They're with the corporation, right? The Sturike or whatever. Yeah.
No, not Ivan, not his boss, but I mean, they're in bed with the folks that run things here. I guess you could say that.
Oh, but it's different. Oh,
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. I mean, not bad. I mean, because of them, we can have a good fight in the back. It's just, like deals tend to favor them. So just make sure you don't come out like without anything for yourself.
I appreciate that, Stuart. You're a good man.
Yeah. Well, we're just simple folk out here trying to earn our way, right?
Same here, sir. Same here.
Hopefully it's something good, and he kind of lets you move out.
Okay. And I will go to the first one I see, which I think was Lex and Rojelio, and I will just tap them both quickly on the shoulder and say, "Hey, can you guys come out with me real quick?" And then I will not say anything more, move on directly to if I see Dru, and I would probably tap her as well, since I do not see Shayloon or Panabon.
I would say certainly. Let me just get Alan one more drink because I think he needs it at this point.
He's just like leaning against the bar.
The entire bag of 100 copper on the bar. I'm like, can I please get another drink for this?
Yeah, he's just like leaning on the bar now, like, yeah. And sometimes, it's just real hard. hard when you just got nobody that loves you, or really nobody to look up to, and nobody to take their to take your cues from. No one.
Would a drink
It's
help, Alan?
uh, he
It
just
seemed
kind of
like
nods
you're. I
and
mean,
lets that go.
I will be back in a moment. I will get you a drink.
Oh,
So
after Rojelio leaves, before I leave, I'm just gonna slide a gold piece to Alan.
oh,
And I'm gonna go, maybe you should get help. Just follow after.
Lex is like, this town needs counselors. Um, all right, so as you get outside, and this fellow Ivan, apparently Stewart had named him, looks at Perunyia and the rest coming up. Well, I suppose that makes sense. You were the singer, huh? The that sang the song, and pointing at Dru.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
So you got your own singer person. With that's really good. And well, and is one of these your whoa. Okay. Looking at Rojelio, and just kind of letting that go. So is one of these your manager, or?
Technically, there's a little gnome who I would call my manager, but she seems to have retired for the night.
No. All right.
But
Well.
these guys are good enough to speak on my behalf, so let's go talk to the boss.
All right. Well, let's come on with me. And he leads you across the street. Um, those of you who are a little more wary of just your surroundings do note that there are people kind of watching, and you see that there's not necessarily anything to the way they're looking, but there is definitely this sort of taking note as you are walking across. And
Roughly how many people do we see watching us as we're?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the people that are around, right? And you're not only are you mostly the only thing going on, you're Perunyia, who towers above everybody, Rojelio, who is really tall and noteworthy. So you're like the only thing going on the street as well. So it's like as if you were walking in any town that had like a lot of like bars and taverns with people just kind of out on the street, and you were like just the biggest, loudest group walking. Uh, it's more like that kind of thing where people are like watching in that way.
Okay, so not really like we feel threatened.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not like that.
More just like we're weird.
You're being
Perunyia
noticed.
always gets noticed because she's awesome. So I don't know what you guys are noticing, but she's
Perunyia gets benefits from this. If someone were to attack you right now, Perunyia would be stronger because of it. Yes. So he takes you up, and you enter into this house. He opens the door and gestures you into the foyer. And this is a very surprisingly well appointed house. This section of Ariad is not like there's the warehouse, there's the hotel, and kind of that business area that the tavern's kind of on the end of. There was a really sort of nice looking sort of set of villas or what have you across from the warehouse that you presume the more well-to-do folks that live in this town are. And then the area that you're in is actually where a lot of probably the rail workers live and everything. And this just is the biggest kind of house there. And as you enter, it is very well appointed. It's in the Victorian style. Lots of like dark wood paneling, and he leads you inside. Offers for anyone to like leave a coat or what have you, and then leads you further into the house. there is let me pull up. Uh, Eventually, he brings you into the back, and they're sitting at a sort of a smallish dining table. So maybe it seats maybe you could maybe fit 5 there. It's more circular. There are 3 people sitting. One is you recognize as the man who came to grab Nugatsa from dinner. And then there's the woman that is there, and then there is another individual as well who is sitting, and they're all sort of speaking together. And as you enter, one second here, let me. As you enter, the man that's speaking kind of goes silent for a minute and just looks over in your direction, and then the other 2 look over as well. And Ivan walks in. I grabbed this Miss Levenge, and and she's brought her her retinue here, as you requested, Ernie. The guy kind of nods and looks at the lone chair that's there. Well, I suppose that our business here is concluded, he says, looking to the other 2. The woman nods. The other fellow gets up. Yeah, I'll make sure it all goes down. We'll take care of it. And the woman shakes hands with this Ernie, and then those 2 leave. Ernest sits back down. Please take your seats.
Sure.
There are 3
Nice to meet
seats.
you.
I'll stay standing.
I
Rojelio
also stay standing. But I'm going to stand behind Perunyia.
I'm just here as management. That's what I was told.
Okay.
People pleasing skills and negotiation. I'm ready.
Oh boy. Yeah, I sit.
I'll sit. I'll sit next to her.
All right. So what we're going to do right now, because it is 9, we're at our halfway point. We're going to take a quick 10 minutes, and then we'll come back to see what it is Ernie wants to speak to Perunyia about. In the meantime, Hello Operator wants to give Sin a nat 1 instead of a nat 20. You know what?
This is rude.
I think this is part of your feud, and I'm just going to.
What do you mean part of our feud? I've been nothing
Obviously.
but kind to that man.
Obviously, y'all are having a feud of some sort. I'm not going to get in the middle of it, but I am going to light a fire and make
Danny.
it more. So with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll see everybody in 10 minutes. Welcome back. So before we left on our break, the whole crew, sans Shaylun and Panabon, our gnomes, are now sitting in Ernie's house, whoever Ernie is. We just barely met him. However, Ernie is the individual that was sitting up on the porch with the 2 Sturike executives, perhaps is a good name for them. And they were all together in the house, but it appears Ernie dismissed them upon Perunyia's arrival. Shaylun had gone back to the train to lock herself in her room and go to sleep for the night. And Panabon is... Nobody knows where Panabon went. So we come back to everyone sitting down. Ernie is he's about 6 foot or so. He is a broad-shouldered man. He's wearing what would be a sort of business suit. He has downgraded his jacket, though, so he's just got a vest and a collared shirt that is unbuttoned at the top, no tie. He has kind of black gray salt and pepper hair, cut short in a conservative style, and he is sitting in the chair. Lex and Rojelio are standing still. Perunyia has taken a seat, and Dru, you took a seat.
Yes.
All right. Well, you're probably wondering why I invited you over this evening. Then bring out some of the scotch for everybody. And Evan nods and disappears. That was quite a show you put on. It's very impressive.
Thanks. That's some of what I'm good at.
Indeed. And frankly, it's all I really wish to discuss this evening. There's no other agenda really other than your fighting skills in a professional setting. I take it that as you've been traveling from Vaishan to the south, that your destination takes you at least through Castanede in Melved, and that is the destination of the train that you're on. And then from there, you're going to figure out where you want to go. And I dare say, based on how quickly Roger was able to put tonight's fight together, that you're not necessarily on anyone's card.
No, I'm not on anyone's card, so to speak. I've taken up matches where I've found them. Vaishan, I did quite a few. We were in Merakadashta for quite a while, and so whenever I was in town off of jobs, I'd pick up fights. But I'm on the move a lot these days, so it's come as you can, come as you will. So I don't know if I'm ready to pursue it as a full-time career, though, if you catch my drift.
Oh, yes. Well, my offer is more a stepping stone in the direction. So perhaps it could be an experience you can use to help make a final determination sometime in the future. Fighting in Merakadashta and Gilaludi, so you squared off with the orcs.
Of course. Good friends of mine.
That's impressive. So, what I have is there's a tournament in Castanede in a few days' time. And there's an entry fee. What I am offering is to take care of all the preparations to get you into this tournament. Pay the entry fee, if you will. And in exchange, as the investor, I would ask for about 75% of any winnings, 25 back to you.
Sorry.
And
75?
well, as I am putting forth 100% of any stake.
But you put in 0% of her training.
I don't think my client is going to like that deal. And like Dru crosses her legs and like is trying to look as businesslike as she can.
And indeed, winning would also bring you a note of prestige. And then perhaps you would be able to find more without needing someone to grease the wheels to get you in, so to speak.
So then she can leave you anytime, is what you're saying.
This is a single tournament deal.
Hmm. I appreciate the interest. I hadn't considered doing another tournament, and frankly, I don't know if I have time for it if our traveling schedule allows. I mean, we are very busy. This is something I'll have to consider. When you say that you would put up the entry fee, how much exactly is this entry fee for this tournament?
Um, the entry fee for this particular tournament is, one moment here. Why are you not open? Oh, that's why, because I have 5,000 screens and it is open. It's way open over there on the other side. 3 clicks. All right. He says, well, the entry fee is going to be 1,000 lei. And lei is the equivalent of gold. So it's 1,000 gold pieces.
Ooh, well, I see the reason you're offering for an investor. It is a hefty fee. But that is your deal, then I take it. You would say entering me into this tournament in Castneed, which you said is in a few days' time. Not a lot of training time, I might add, but if I understand what you're proposing is that you would pay this entry fee and whatever winnings, and I guess we should discuss what kind of winnings that they're proposing, would be 75% your way, 25% my way. So what is the size of these winnings? And what should happen if I, well, just lose?
There's a 10,000 lane pot for the tournament. I believe first place is going to get 5,000, and then it goes down from there until the lowest pot winning will receive a portion of the entry fee. If you don't win, well, that's my burden to bear. Which is another reason why the split seems to skew my way so heavily. I am the only one risking anything here.
Well, I will have to think about it and get back to you. What is the best way to give you my decision? I think tomorrow morning would, I think, overnight of a night of rest and reflection, I think that I should have a final answer for you. And with the train leaving soon, I think that we could make Castanede and the tournament just fine via the train, but I should like to sleep on it.
Very well. What I'll have is Ivan will await you in the morning as he's like setting down several glasses, and then he looks over and kind of like looks at the clock on the wall as it's getting later, and now he's hearing that he's going to have to be at the train in the morning, but he doesn't say anything. I'll have Ivan meet you in the morning, and you can relay your answer to him.
A quick question. When my client takes first place, what kind of winnings can they expect?
You have an interesting management team. All of them are like my client. No one says our client. They're all like my client.
Whoever makes the best deal keeps it.
Yeah. Winning the tournament, I believe, is a 5,000 lane pot for the winner.
And is betting allowed on the fights, or is it just pot?
Always.
All right. Well, I think we've heard enough. We understand your proposed deal. I think we'll commune with Ivan in the morning as to our decision.
Excellent. That's all I can ask. Please have a pleasant remainder of your evening. And Ivan, please show them to the door.
I get up and shake his hand.
He
And
stands to shake yours.
yeah, and I look at my group, indicate the door, and exit.
For Drew, make a quick, or not necessarily a quick, but a perception test on your way out.
Ooh, a
That's
nat
that's
20.
true.
Woo!
Ooh.
Receptive as fuck.
Only tonight and only in the game.
Only tonight and only in the game. All right. So, yeah, on your way out, you see there is there's a plaque over the door, the exit door, and that plaque is there is a sort of a large, not a large, but it looks like maybe a wall, like a stone wall, is sort of embossed in metal on that plaque. And over the top of that plaque, it says Repol Pan Egen, which is Melved for loyalty and honor. Um, and that is something that you recognize as being the sort of the motto, if you will, of Mor Epis, which is like the sort of a mob type organization throughout Ireland.
Right.
So you do notice that on your way out. And then after you guys exit, Ivan nods and says, I guess I'll see you in the morning at the station to get your answer." Yeah, I'll see you then. Good night. Closes the door as you walk out into the street.
Perunyia, so I'm not 100% sure what the situation was, but it sounds like you won something, so congratulations.
Thanks, Lex.
Congratulations on what you did.
Did you guys catch my fight at all? Like, did you see it? No?
I was
I saw the very end of it,
Thanks.
only due to my height.
Great. So did you like it, Rojelio?
You definitely put that muscular man in his place.
Yeah, thank you.
We walked in right at the end.
I also want to apologize. I wrote a letter to your brother, but forgot to ask you if you wanted to say anything.
Well, that's awkward now, isn't it?
Next time.
Seeing as he doesn't know that I'm alive, yeah, did you I don't know, mention I'm alive? Because that seems like a big deal.
I just said that he didn't have to worry.
Okay, yeah, this could be really confusing for him then. Yeah, that he doesn't have to worry about his dead sister.
Listen, we talk very cryptically. Anyone could read our letters.
Sure. I might need to consider writing him my own letter, I guess. Anyway, I look around to see if the crowd has thinned out and if there's anyone within hearing.
Yeah, even in the 20 minutes that you had been inside, it has thinned out a little bit. It already, people were kind of going home, and just like a few like hardcore people with reason to go back to the tavern had. So it is clearing out.
Hardcore reason.
Alcoholics. Yeah, we need to talk about tonight's proposal. I got a feeling, I know Shailene's position is gonna be, oh no, we shouldn't be bringing even more notoriety on ourselves. And Avril, you're like wanted for murder and like all that stuff.
Wait, you're wanted for murder?
Not important. I didn't kill anyone. Well, I didn't kill anyone there. Panabon did.
More importantly,
Okay.
a 1,250 return on a bet that's about the entrance fee isn't really too profitable for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
it might
also
not be
didn't
worth
sound
the
great.
stress.
Did anybody else notice the plaque on the wall by the door?
Very shiny.
I don't read that well.
And I tell them what the plaque said. I don't think these are the type of people that you want to get involved with. I don't want to tell you your business, but I think that based on what I saw and what I heard, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Stewart actually mentioned that the guy that I fought tonight, when he saw Ivan talking to me, he said like, "Hey, watch out for them because they like take advantage of people." So maybe that like tracks. Anyway, I look around. This is something that I definitely want to talk to Shaylin and Panabon about. I don't know. It's hard for me to see the upside. Like, obviously, I'd win and the money might be nice, but not sure if it's worth the risk.
Was this something that we could only get into with his connection, or is this something that we can freelance and do ourselves?
I mean, that's why I asked the cost. 1,000 gold pieces. I mean, that's a lot. It's high, but we can talk to Shaylin. I have no idea how much money we actually have.
The other thing that it sounded like it would be tough to arrange getting into it without his assistance.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I feel like you could just start your own fight ring. You're a pretty good fighter. An amazing fighter even. So like why do we need to join other people's fight rings?
Thanks, Lex, but flattery will get you nowhere. But besides, I'm, busy trying to avenge my sister's murder. I got bigger things going on right now.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, maybe someday. That's maybe my retirement plan.
I personally don't think. I think if you accept this offer, I think it's going to be harder to dislodge yourself from these people. I don't think it's worth it, personally.
Well, anyway, no decision can be made tonight without Shaylin and Panabon for sure. Shaylin's staying back at the train, yes? Should we head back that way? Not that I want to give up the really nice bed in the motel, but
I mean,
feel like we should talk
I
to
was
them.
planning on staying at the train if you're worried about her being there by herself.
Someone told me she checked in for our room already.
I'm very confused.
Because I went to go check in, and they told me that I had checked in, and I was confused, and they said that a short gnome checked in for their roommate, and I'm her roommate. So I think that means that she checked into my room.
Well, one would say that, but I was pretty sure she mentioned she was going back to the train tonight. Huh.
So did someone else check in and say I was their roommate?
Oh, who knows? I mean, maybe Panabon's tricks.
Oh, that's true. Panabon.
They do play a lot of pranks.
Maybe that's why they're missing. Did you guys get that message?
So
That Panabon was
they were
missing?
there for like the beginning of my bout. I'm sure that I saw them while I was warming up, and I didn't see them afterwards.
No, I lost sight of them pretty early.
Are you telling me that message in my head wasn't just me and Alan?
No, that was Shaylin.
Well, it would have been nice to know that. I would have paid attention to it. I thought it was
also
just
respond.
I did. I shouted out loud.
I know I was there for that.
Like Alan lied to me. Maybe he heard it too. I don't know.
It's Alan.
That's my new best friend.
Oh, great.
He's got a really rude friend though.
Oh, the friend that points out disformities.
Yeah.
Thinks all Dragonborn look alike.
Yeah.
So rude.
He assumed that we were friends because I was a Dragonborn. Like we are. I consider you someone I like.
But all Dragonborn must know each other. Yeah.
right? He was just going, you must be here with Avril because, you
'Cause
know.
obviously you're both Dragonborn. Why else? Like, yeah, rude. So,
He had a rude way of saying it. Like Alan said, my hands were tragedies, but I didn't mind that as much as the other man.
Because he just went, oh.
Alan had a nice way of saying it. That was the real difference.
we definitely should come up with a backstory for you that humans would be more receptive towards. Yeah, we should think about that. I'm sure Panabon will come up with a great one.
Human
Tragic
tragedy. They write about it all the time.
This is probably not the best time to ask this question, but at some point, do I get to be let in on the big secret as to why everybody has two names and why people are on the run? And
they told me to come up with a name, and I came up with Fred. So
okay, really, really short version. Can I do a short version? Okay, so I left Palacune in a rush because Panabon got me implicated in breaking and entering and murder in the house of one of the high priests in his name is Flamgesu. He's a really bad dude. We found out that he's also like trying to bring like old power that's new to returned, I don't know, to this world and to like use it for evil purposes and like bringing dead things back to life. And poor Shayloon and Panabon have been fleeing from this thing and been pursued by these crazy assassin guys from like everywhere we've gone. And so I'm wanted for at minimum questioning for murder for my involvement in what happened in Palacune. And Panabon, same. Shayloon and Panabon are wanted for, well, not perhaps by the law, but definitely by these what we call zigzag men. I don't know, assassins. And let's see, we had folks with us that ended up going back home. They left. They were fantastic. One was a doctor named Aegis, and another one was a cowboy. And he left to go back to his home with his dad, and then we decided to come here, and here we are, and that's the whole story.
That was the short version.
Yeah.
I was not part of any of that until most recently. And
I was told
gave
you
me a
can change your name once a week.
Leaving the city. I've been using Avril Avenge for quite a while now.
So, okay. Two follow-up questions. The first one is Shayloon is the other little one that's always grumpy, right?
Oh yeah, she goes by Lampira. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I know her as Lampira. Okay. So she's Shayloon. Okay. And my second question is, it's not really a question, I guess. I find it hard to believe that, and no offense, please, no offense. I find it hard to believe that you and Panabon didn't break into somebody's house. If I'm being completely honest,
we did. To be fair, we did break into someone's house, and Panabon did murder someone. I didn't murder the guy though. Panabon did, and they murdered my sister first. So they're and also they're evil.
So you guys are wanted criminals?
Okay, rude. And you would know this already if you were really my friends with my brother.
Listen, I was just told that you had gotten in trouble. I didn't think, I do certain crimes. They're different.
I'm okay with a little light crime.
Yeah, light crime. Murder is a little more than light crime.
Light crime is okay.
Yes. Rojelio Jr., here's the thing.
Today's lesson.
If you can fill less than 1 cup with blood, that's okay. More than that, and it's heavy crime.
And that's not okay.
That could be too much.
Right. Stop the bleeding.
Wait, but to get back to it, I am still in the right here. I have fair and good reasons to be where I was, and that guy is an evil dude, and he was definitely involved with the people who are trying to like raise the evil gods in Jilaludi, and like, yeah, there's a bunch of bad people, and they got like a little secret, I don't know, society thing, and they're like trying to like get relics to like raise old power back into this world or some shit. I don't know. Jalen could tell you more.
And you said there's bad
Can't wait
people
to
after
ask
you.
Shaylin more.
Not after me. Yeah, I'm fine. It's definitely Shaylin and Panabon.
And what are the chances that these bad people are gonna think that we're, and I point to Lex, that we're with y'all? No offense. I think you're great. You know, you're swell, but I don't want to be murdered.
Oh, they're definitely gonna think you're
You're-
with us, you're with us because you're with us. So then, yes, they will think you're with us. So yeah,
Okay.
I
it is
don't know
dangerous
that I
hanging
wanna
out with
die.
us. Like, I want to make that clear.
I'm getting that. Should not have asked to be reassigned. Got this.
I was born into such a cool family. The most exciting 2 days of my entire life. I only mean that literally.
Oh shit! Yeah. Literally day two.
Day 2, wanted criminals. Like, crime is okay. Hearing voices in your head, normal, quote, Alan.
All right. So that's all going on. Meanwhile, at the train, Shaylin, you have been in your room and it's quiet. Your ears start burning a little bit, but other than that, everything's fine. And as you've got the light out, you're ready to go to sleep. When you feel Minya hop up onto your chest and then kind of tapping your chin. And then we lost Sarah.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Now that so you're just about to drift off into sleep, and now that you are not, you hear footsteps in the hallway. They go past your door and then they're receding down the hall.
I kind of look questioningly at Minya because we can communicate telepathically. So, what's going on? What's wrong?
You get a sense that there was that Minya is just concerned about whatever this person is doing because they seemed. You get a sense that they like stopped and have been moving somewhat cautiously, maybe, or sneakily, which is weird because they're not like you can tell that they're wearing boots, but they're not like stomping.
I'll cast invisibility on myself.
Okay.
And quietly step into the hall and look around.
Yeah. Make a stealth or sneaking check to see just how quietly you do it.
I'm so good at this. Oh, I'm not bad, actually. Except when I roll like shit.
Okay. So you step out into the hall. The door squeaks just a little bit, just enough for you to kind of, and then you stop. And then you just kind of squeeze yourself out the rest of the way so you're not like pulling the door all the way open and squeaking it more. You close the door and you kind of tiptoe down the hall. Minya is on your shoulders. When you cast spells that are self and Minya is connected to you, then that spell extends to Minya as well. If Minya leaves from you, then that spell goes away from Minya.
Cool.
And does not come back if Minya comes back. So
Cool. Okay.
Minya's on your shoulder as you kind of walk down, and you see the door ahead where Nugatsa Sanato's room is, and you see the fellow from earlier at the restaurant is um, looks like he's opening the door. Looks like he's got a key to the room and he's opening the door. He looks kind of back and forth up and down the hall and then steps inside the room. You see a light go on and then the door closes behind him.
I mentally asked Minya for clarity on like what was this guy doing when you came and got me? Like, was he walking up and down the train cars? Was he like what was he doing to alert Minya's attention early?
So when he came in, so mostly it's just from Minya's hearing. Minya didn't see him do anything, right? But when he came in, he did the thing that people do when they look up and down to like make sure no one sees them kind of coming in like from the window, like to come into the train car itself. And then just was moving and kind of stopping at the doors, at each door as they went down the hall. And then when you saw him go in, like I said, he kind of looks up and down the hall, and then he stepped into the
Okay.
which I'll note was dark. He turned on the light as he goes in.
Yeah. I'm thinking of all my spells. Really need to work on that like truth spell. That would be helpful. And the door is latched
Well, he
closed.
closed it behind him. You didn't hear him lock it or anything.
Can I like gently push on the door to see if it's like unlatched and might open a crack?
Yeah, give me a D20 roll just straight up.
Come here.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't close all the way. So as you kind of just test it just a little bit, it kind of you feel it push in just a little. You can see light kind of coming from where the latch part is, and then from under the door.
Okay. I'm gonna like listen to see if like the guy's right behind the door, or if I can maybe slip through like I did my door.
So the you would be entering into a single room. So if you open the door and he's just looking
he
in
doesn't
that
have
direction at all, it's gonna be he'll see.
Okay. I figured Nugatsa might have a suite or something.
It's a way bigger room, but it's still just
Yeah.
like a room with a desk and stuff in it.
All right. Okay then. I'm gonna back up a bit, so that and kind of sit down the hall a little bit more, so that I have a little distance, so that I can whisper an invisibility onto Minya, separate from me, and then have her go in and take a look.
Okay. Yeah, Minya is able to find a way to get inside, and once inside, just kind of perches in a corner. He's kind of just looking around. He's like kind of picking a few things up and then looking at them and putting them down, but not like just kind of like someone does if they're bored and just checking out like people's tchotchkes, right? Like that's kind of what he's doing. And then he he picks up a little lamp that's on the desk, and he looks at it and he turns it over in his hand, puts it down and looks at some other stuff, walks over to the bed, and kind of looks around over the bed area, There's a point where he goes to the window and kind of cracks the curtain out and like peers outside for a second, turns back around. So throughout all of this, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we use Minya's perception?
So he's just kind of looking around and he kind of picks a few things up. You note that he there's a point where he puts his hand in his pocket and he takes out something and he just kind of looks at it for a few seconds and then he nods and he puts it back in his pocket and he walks over to the door. Looks like he's going to exit.
There's what Sarah wants to do, and then there's what I'm thinking Shayloon would probably do. Interesting. Okay, Shayloon time. She'll kind of stay silent as and urge Minya to try to slip out the door. But she'll wait for him to leave, and then we're gonna write a letter to Nugatsa and have Minya find him.
Yeah, so he steps out. Minya kind of squeaks out alongside. He turns, he locks the door.
That's what I was worried about.
With the key that he has. And then he looks up and down the hall. You get a sense of relaxation kind of come from him. As he turns, he kind of tosses the key up in the air, catches it, and starts whistling jauntily as he exits from the train car.
Keep my distance, but follow him while scribbling in my spell book a quick note, basically saying the guy you had a meeting with just snuck into your train car, acting suspicious. Thought I'd check with you, Shay, and then send Minya to Nugatsa while I follow this guy.
All right. You leave from the train car and you start following him. He actually goes to the back because you're close to the back anyway, and that's the fastest way to then from the exit go around to the other side where he's heading over to the villas. And he eventually gets to one of them and walks up the porch, gets to the front door, opens it up, and heads inside. As he does so, the house is mostly dark. He turns on lights as he goes in. Looks like
invisibly, I want to kind of peek in some of the windows and see if, like, again, is this another place he's sneaking into, or is this like he picking up his feet and watching some not television because we don't have it? But
yes. So as you go up, he's turning on lights as he's moving through and turning them off as he moves through. He has taken off his jacket and his hat and his gloves and has laid them over a chair at a table in the little dinette table in the dining room. He's undone some of his tighter buttons. It looks like he's getting comfortable for the evening.
with that, okay, this is gonna sound creepy, but as he's winding down for the evening and like gets changed, I don't want to look, but I want to know where he leaves his pants so that I can send Minya to see what was in his pocket later.
That's really sus, Shay.
So you're going to look. That's what I just heard.
I just heard you're gonna watch him take his pants off.
Yeah. Not at him, just his pants.
So that's a thing that you're doing. And meanwhile, the rest of you, as you are arriving at the train, Dru, you head into your room. And Lex, you open the door, expecting Shayloon to be there, sleeping, and there's no Shayloon.
Oh. I pop my head back out. So, are we 100% sure that Shaylin was staying here? Because I don't see her.
Hi. Mom. Well, hi. Okay, well, I've got kids, so give me a second.
Parenting.
They couldn't
Hold
wait
on.
another minute. They couldn't wait
Rojelio is
another
needy.
3 seconds. Also, Panabon isn't back either.
That's Panabon.
So, Sin, you were talking to Perunyia?
Whoever's outside. Shaylin is not here, so I'm pretty sure she is sleeping at the hotel.
I mean, fair assumption, it is pretty late.
Wait, can I also get my bag? And is my half Band-Aid still in there?
Is the half Band-Aid still in there?
I would not have removed the half Band-Aid.
I mean, I wouldn't assume you'd remove it, but did you remember to put it back?
Yeah, is it in the same stuck position it was in before? Because it is stuck half to the bag.
I don't know. Make a roll for it if you want.
Can I use that Nat 1 operator gave me?
Yes. You use the Nat 1 that operator gave you, and you don't know.
Cool.
Good job.
Cool.
That's a really good use of a Nat 1 right there.
I know.
So yeah, no Shayloon. And so we will pick this up next week. And we'll have Panabon. We'll figure out what Panabon did or is doing. And resolve some of these odd little happenings that are happening. But once again, thanks everybody for joining us, everyone who tuned in, to, of course, the players, the cast. I love you all dearly. Thomas, thanks for stepping in and doing our tech this evening. I really appreciate that. And Cogsworth's Clockwork Circus Kickstarter is live right now, issue 2, and you know, we've got more Kickstarter stuff on the way. So this week, all of Rem's normal schedule, I think, of streaming is going on, and then we have the streamathon this weekend. So if you want to just kind of tune in and see what's going on, several of us here are involved in some of the things that are going on there, and I think the streamathon is ending with this stream on Sunday night. So
Ooh.
with that, thank you once again for joining us, and we'll see everybody again next week, like clockwork.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.